Welcome to our weekly Q&A show where we answer submitted questions live on YouTube on Tuesdays at 2 p.m.
Hey, Louie, good to see you. Is Louie going to answer questions this week?
No, he's just gonna critique. He'll write his blog post afterwards. He'll write a critique afterwards of something.
He's learning from you. Just listen and then critique.
Yeah, it's better not to come up with any innovative ideas. Just try to tear down other people's. That's what we're all about in this family.
Yeah, good to hear. Well, then, everyone, this is our Tuesday live show. We go on YouTube, we answer questions. I've been getting questions via text and Facebook Messenger and all kinds of places lately. And just would like to remind everybody, if you want to ask us a question, me a question, Aaron a question, the easiest way to do it is through whitewaterguidebook.com. And so you just go to whitewaterguidebook.com and click on here, Gear Garage, ask a question or comment. That is your best chance. By the way, do you see Courtney join me last week? And
I saw that.
Mediocre Rafting Show.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't make it. Anyway, ask us a question. That's the best way. We catalog it. We organize it. If you text me what you think, the questions, if you Facebook message me, they don't usually make it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That's not the best way to do it. So please help us by doing it through there. We also have this forum. And so this is actually a great place to ask questions. And I've been adding beta to runs as I get them here as well. But like if we're not doing shows on like a Tuesday morning, I'll answer questions here versus once a week or whatever. And Aaron might even jump in too. But please use the forum to ask questions. It's a great place to do it there as well. And other people can help answer those questions too. So with that, you ready for some questions, Aaron? Anything to add?
Do I have to give you my email address to talk on the forum?
I don't think so. Oh, you have to create an account. You might have to have an email address to use the forum.
And then you're gonna start to send me a bunch of spam.
No.
And sell me to the black dark web or whatever.
This is starting to sound like a good idea, actually. Yeah, we're gonna do that. If you sign up for the forum, you should expect a lot of spam, and you should expect the dark web to know all about you. That's the price to pay to have your questions answered.
There you go.
If you want your questions answered, you got to deal with that.
All right.
So we have 4 questions. They're pretty straightforward, I think. The first one is, myself and some others are going to head to the Lochsaw Memorial Day weekend. Then Monday, try and put it on the main salmon at Corn Creek. Any thoughts on high water for that run? Talking about both runs? So I've never done the Lochsaw high water. Have you, Aaron?
Yeah, it's sporty. I mean, you can put in farther down and make it a little less sporty, but it's still a high water. It's sporty. But, I mean, the Lochs on the Selway, they have a good snowpack, but I don't think it's that big this year, right?
Yeah, I think people keep asking me weeks ahead of time. It's like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so big in 3 weeks. What do I do? And I'm like, it's 3 weeks away. First of all, wait and see what the flow is going to be, because it may not be as big as you think. It depends on the weather. Yep. It depends on a lot of things. You can't predict the snowpack 3 weeks away or the flow 3 weeks away. So maybe it's high. I don't know. But the main salmon, when it's high right now. Right now is probably the peak height. Right now when it's high, whatever, I think it's 70,000. It's big. It's fun.
It's fun. It gets spooky. You just get weird currents. It gets, I've been out on the main salmon above Riggins. What's that from? That stretch above Riggins. We did that 70,000, 80,000, and it was spooky.
Yeah.
Spooky.
It's generally class 3, but mistakes could get really ugly quick. And there's a couple rapids. What's that one towards the end? Whiplash gets really big. I think Whiplash in Chittenden is pretty big. But yeah, I mean, your question, any thoughts on the high water for that run, is so vague. Hopefully we're answering it well.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Lochsaw is at 80% of normal.
The snowpack?
The water year-to-date precipitation, the snow water equivalent. I mean, but now we're kind of melting off. It's melting off, but The Selway's melting off too. They're both melting off. So they're dropping right now. They're not very high. So, but we are at the end of May hitting the beginning of June. So they're supposed to be dropping some, but yeah. So anyways.
I mean, it looks like, I don't know what big is. I mean, it's higher than average, but that's what's happening right here is it's been doing the snow melt peak. I don't know.
What's the locks are running? 17?
Yeah. Is that big?
That's good. I mean, yeah, that's big. Yeah. I'd say, up around 20,000 is like, yeah. So that'll be festive for sure.
But you can see it's starting to drop off. Like, I think a lot of the Idaho rivers had great snowpacks and everything blew off this last week or two. And now snowpacks are average.
But Zach, that drop off looks like a drop off because it got like
that's
shady
got
or
cold.
something like that. There's like a storm cold. It got cold. Yeah, that doesn't look like the snowpack's just wearing out, because then you see, I feel like it's more gradual. So the high country might have got cold again. Yeah.
But it's also, I think it's running out of energy. The Middle Fork's doing the same thing. Right. The Middle Fork peaked the past couple of days at 7.5, and the prediction is for it to drop down. Yeah, it cooled off. I mean, it was pretty warm. And then I think snowpack's running. If you look down, by the way, you can sign up for our email newsletter if you go to our whitewaterguidebook.com. You can see that the Clearwater drainage is 63% of normal right now. So a lot of the snow blew off already. The salmon was 120, 130%, and it's only 110 right now. So, I mean, it was an early melt. Everything blew off, and it's probably not going to be as big as people think on the lock saw.
Well, I feel like that's been Idaho the last 10 years. I feel like, because like
not last year. Last year was a late.
Yeah, that was it. That was the unique one. I feel like that was more like normal, where you get these cold Mays and Junes, and we just haven't seen that in the same way.
Yeah, but you can see this graph kind of, those green lines are average for the Middle Fork. And we had this big snowpack, but it blew off, and we're actually pretty close to average.
Yeah.
We're back to, up in the mountains, the snow. So it's just going to be normal. I mean, my take is it's going to be pretty normal from here on out. You can't ask for better than normal, in my opinion. And for the Middle Fork, we've been stoked because there's all those blowouts and log jams, and this sustained high water that we've had has hopefully cleared out a lot of that stuff. Anyway, back to the question. Any thoughts on high water it's high water. They're both like, I don't know, would you say the main salmon and Lochsa are both like class 3 easy, class 4 runs? And
I'd say the Lochsa is definitely harder than the main salmon, but I feel like the main salmon is just, you got so much more volume at 70,000. And if you're in a 14-foot boat on the Lochsa at 17,000 is going to be a little spooky, but a 14-foot boat on the main salmon at 70,000 is really spooky. So I think, like it just, yeah. I wonder what kind of craft are you using? If you're on cats on both of those trips, I would feel pretty good. But in rafts, I think
depending, I mean, you would feel good. It's not recommending people like, hey, it's big water, and so like it's high water boating. So I just want to, while we're like on this topic, I want to go to the AW accident database. Let's look at and the recent accidents. There's been a lot of accidents due to high water lately, and so just a reminder, like high water, cold water is really dangerous, and I follow this pretty carefully. It's just been like pretty normal, like not normal, pretty steady amount of fatalities that I would say happens in high water. And you can see high water in Colorado. That was 2 days ago. There was this really sad thing in the Clackamas that happened. People trying to cross the river to go to a hot spring just the other day. One boat trip. That's why I'm so fanatical about people not doing one boat trips. I was just an injury though. They didn't die luckily, but one boat trip fatal, flush drowning. These are all flush drownings just mean, to me, there's no other information. They generally are like people fall out and we can't get them to shore, and it's usually related to high water, heart attack, heart failure, swimming to strainer, flush drowning, high water, one boat trip, heart attack. So this is not what this database usually looks like. We're seeing a lot of one boat trips, so people can't get rescued. high water, heart attacks, which we associate a lot of times with just falling into cold water and there being a cold shock response. So this is just, and I think when it's saying the flow in the class, the flow, see it's high, 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 high. Like we're getting all these high water fatalities because we're having high water all around the West. So when going on high water runs, there's a lot of added risk due to the high flow in the cold water. And so I think just to reiterate things people should know is like wear a wetsuit or a dry suit and wear a high flow PFD. Boats should be tight. People should be fit. If you're 65 years old and 250, probably shouldn't go on cold high water, right? Definitely if you do, you're wearing the highest flotation jacket that exists and probably have leg straps. But boats are running tight. You have safety. The first boat has minimal number of people so they can rescue people. And if the first boat flips, that person's exposed. They should be somebody super solid. So I think there's a whole high water series of things we should be doing to help mediate the risk of high water. But understand, high water is dangerous. Am I being overcautious here, and am I being too preachy?
No, I think it is. I have a whole article I wrote on high water boating.
Oh, good.
And yeah, I don't know if this will share this way. There we go. Hopefully that went in. And so
it won't share that way. Why don't you bring it up?
All right, I will.
Hold on. So Josh St. John, 16-foot rafts. That's good, but I think the main salmon's huge right now. And so when I ran it at Big Water, the times I've run it, it's been 18-foot rafts. So I don't know if 16 feet. Yeah, that's good, but you can easily flip a 16-foot raft on the main salmon. So hopefully, again, like beyond the 16-foot rafts, you're like solid boaters. You're wearing wetsuits and dry suits. Everybody's healthy. You're running your boats tight. You're looking out for each other. I hope you're more than just two boats. If you're two boats and one flips, I don't know how you mediate that unless you're just amazing. Aaron's got a lot of noise going. Yeah, the river changes. There's sometimes wood floating down. It takes it's the moves are class 3. So people say, oh, it's class 3, but it takes a class 4 skill level to, catch eddies for scouts and rescue people. So I just think that it's pretty dangerous. Aaron's showing his article about how.
Yeah, I mean, and I think one thing, Zach, that I feel like is when that river gets bank full, where it's full across and there's no like cobble bars or something like that. And when it gets above there, that's when I feel like rivers really start to get scarier. And like, and both the locks are bank full at the moment. And I think they're really pushy. There's not a lot of good eddies. There's a lot of squirrely currents trying to get into eddies. Getting out, if you do flip, getting out of the river is tough. It's really tough. So, I agree with you. The 2-boat trip, I would not be excited about a 2-boat trip of 16-foot rafts running the main salmon.
I mean, maybe there's more boats. I don't know, but like at 70,000, these are flows where you get to put in and you change your mind. You're like, we didn't really, but then you're committed. You're falling into a commitment trap because you're all thinking it like maybe we shouldn't go, but people are afraid to not go. I mean, on Sunday, it's still going to be 60 grand probably.
Well,
it's really big.
And in addition, I think the other part I'd ask is, are you okay? You running gear boats or are you running light boats? And if you're running gear boats, can you flip those boats back over in the current? Because if somehow you guys are falling close and something changed or you get offline and you both flip, or are you going to be able to get those boats back over? What's your plan? What's your plan if your boats flip? And, 2 boats, what's your plan? If one boat flips, are you going to pull that other boat to shore? How are you going to, it's like, it gets really messy. So, sorry.
I feel like that's okay. I feel like these flows require teams of trained experts. That's my opinion. Not just like, oh, we have a permit, we're going to go, hell or high water. These are legit flows. Things get really big in there. And yeah, some things are easy. Some rapids, like on the road, when the road gets super high, Rainy Falls is nothing. But when you Blossom is huge, as you would imagine.
And that's one of them in the article. Practice. I think you got to train up a lot.
Yeah.
So 4 boats is a lot better. That's a lot better than 2 for sure. That's good. But still have those questions about if a boat flips, how are you going to handle it? What are you going to do? How maneuverable are your rafts? Just kind of walking through those different scenarios before you get on the water and be like, are we ready to handle these scenarios if they arise? Not just like, let's hope none of the boats flip and we'll be okay. So, and have you practiced those scenarios? Have you been together and you've had a boat flip and you know you can work together? You know how you would handle it. So I think that's part of the training that's helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. So 4 boats. I like 4 boats. I think 4 boats is my favorite number, actually. So that's great. But this isn't a 4-boat float where people have umbrellas sticking up, and please don't drink when you're doing this. Like, you know, and like not, you gotta tie your stuff in really well. Like, it's a different trip, I think. Willy Bum Bum. Yeah. 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 And when you're at home and you're looking at this, you're like, oh, it's 70 grand, 60 grand dropping. Like, no big deal. When you are driving in and you see that what the river looks like, you know, it's really hard to turn around. And, you know, it's when you see it and it's brown, there's logs floating down. It's really hard to call that. So there's no way to predict the river's behavior based on, no, I mean, it's Mother Nature.
Well, I mean, predict the behavior. Like, are we talking about predict the flows or predict how the river will act? Because I think you can predict the flow. I mean, the flows are predictable, and the forecasts do pretty well with it. And
the flows are not predictable.
They do pretty well telling you high water what to watch out for. But I don't even think that's the biggest issue is predicting what it is. I think it's more about your team. And it's like this part, your ability to maintain your spacing, your ability to deal with something when it comes up cleanly and not let things snowball and get worse.
It's not just like, it's not like
where the major features on the river places.
Aaron, your internet's not very good today.
Go ahead.
But I think there's like knowing, oh, okay, we know we're supposed to run tight. We know we're supposed to do this. And there's doing it. And doing it takes practice. Like, I teach boat spacing and boat order all the time in classes. And they say, here's what you do. And then people go, in reality, don't do it. And so I have to edit them out and say, hey, guys, that wasn't what I was talking about. This is what it looks like. Practice again. Edit them out. That wasn't what I wanted. Do it. So this is like practice thing that it depends on a team working together. But flows are not that predictable. Aaron, I canceled an Illinois trip the morning of a trip this year. And a different trip I thought I was going to cancel the morning of when we ran it. So, like, the Illinois is very unpredictable, as you know. But, like, all of these river prediction things have been off all spring. Like, I've been burned so many times on the Hood, the Illinois, and just watching the middle.
Yeah, but you're talking these smaller drainages and these lower. I mean, in the higher volume, they know pretty well, and you know within a range. Like the middle fork,
you know, within a range,
it's 7 feet, but you know it's going to be 5 to 8. You know what I mean? And that's all high. And like, yeah, there's times where you might be on the
5.
edge.
Hey, Aaron, 5 is much different than 8. 5 and 8 are much different. On the middle fork,
they are. But my point is, above 5, you need to know what you're doing. 8, you're not going. But you know, it's a tighter window than
that's 6. At 6, most people shouldn't go. So if you know it's between 5 and 8, you're like, we might go, but there's a good. It's like hard to know. I'm just saying the river predictions are really bad, and especially on these years where it's like these where there's a lot of snow. Like, they don't know how to deal with some of the things. So the Illinois, actually, my friend of mine called the prediction people and said, hey, change it. You're discounting the snow. And so I think they're decent on normal years, but this has been an abnormal year.
For the Illinois, but it hasn't been an abnormal year for the Middle Fork. It's
the Middle Fork
normal year. You're in the normal snowpack.
No, it hasn't. It's not normal, Aaron. We just looked at
Just look at the graph. The graph's right in the middle of normals. Like, you just showed us the graph.
It is right now.
Snowpack.
Aaron, it's normal right now, but look at the snowpack that we had. I'll go back to that. I mean, when we were up here,
it's a little above average. It's a little above average.
That's not a little above average. That was just like 135% of normal up times. It was
135% is a little above average.
120 is a little above average. 135 is different.
Look, it's still well within the range. It's a little above there for a little bit.
It's well within the maximum.
Following the average.
It's well within the maximum. Anyway, we're getting way off topic. Spent some high water this weekend. So fun, but starting moves early and keeping. Yeah. Yep. and things happen fast. Yep. I've heard so many stories of near misses this spring, and people underestimating the trips they go on. And if you look at the accident database, there's been a lot of fatalities already because of high water. So I just please be safe out there. That's all I'm saying. Want to move on? Hopefully answer this question. Oh, shuttle services. I have no idea.
Doesn't Blackadar do shuttles? I don't know who else does, but Blackadar. I thought Blackadar does shuttles.
On the main salmon, yeah. It's fine. We do our Whitewater guidebook email, and we recommended a shuttle company, and somebody who gets our email got all mad at us for recommending a shuttle company because they thought we were recommending one that we didn't recommend everybody equally. So I got to be careful if I recommend people because I get people mad at me. So I don't know. All right, Jerry at Blackadar. Yeah, there you go. Jerry at Blackadar. Here you go. Finally, a negative comment about Aaron. There you go, Aaron. Deal with it. Suck on that for a minute. All right, spend some time on high water.
How am I being argumentative right now?
I don't know. I don't think you are. You're argumentative.
I thought we were kind of in agreement here. This one.
We are. Okay, let's move on. Makita valve adapter. Do you have the link to the Makita blower valve adapter? Okay, I have had this question so many times. And so I'm going to Google here. So everybody know raft blower Makita and see if my video comes up. There we go. There's the video. And so there's me looking like a dork. If you go down to the can you see this? Is this up? If you go down, it says, on this episode of Gear Garage, Zach tells us all about the Makita blower valve adapter for raptor inflation. The next sentence, if you're interested in an adapter, contact Kelsey, and there's Kelsey's email. That's his email. There's no link. I never promised a link. Read what I wrote. If you want an adapter, email Kelsey. That's the answer. There's no link. I never promised a link that I know of. It says the link in the video goes to Amazon, but it appears to be for standard blower. Yeah. So what you read was below there. Want to help support Gear Garage and purchase some tried and true rafting gear? Purchase the Makita blower at the link. So that link, yes, I say it there. If you read it, that's the link for the Makita blower. You're right. That it does that. Thanks for the content. I believe I watched 9% of your videos. Man, that's a lot of wasted time. I'm sorry. Please, I hope you didn't watch the first 100 episodes. They were terrible. But just again, one more time, if you want the Makita blower and you click the link, if you want the adapter, you read the second sentence and it says how to contact Kelsey directly to get the adapter, which is, the adapter is amazing. It's this whole blower thing is mine like changes my whole world in terms of blown up boats. Okay, done with that one. All right, I know you're extremely busy and this is a pretty random text, but if you have a few minutes, just was wondering how flows are looking for the Rogue about now. The gauge near Grants Pass around 500. Well, it sounds like you know what the flows are, 4,500. So probably a bit more flow downstream. Yep, because tributaries do enter the river, so it is more flow downstream. I think you've only been at 4,000. I'm wondering if things are still pretty manageable. Yeah, I mean, manageable is relative. Manageable for me, manageable for Aaron, manageable for somebody who has no experience. So it's I don't know. Yeah, it's the difference between 4,000 and 4,500. I don't think is a big deal on the Rogue. So I'm wondering how flows are looking on the Rogue about now. So you said you checked the gauge. Let me check it because I don't check the gauge on a regular basis. So we'll say Rogue River flow Grants Pass. Let's see how the flow is doing. Oops. Let's see what the flow on the Rogue River is doing. God, I hate these new pages. All right, so the flow it's 4,000. Look, it dropped down to 4,000 today. So yeah, maybe that's it. So,
Hold on, let's look at the forecast.
I don't think there's a forecast for the Rogue.
There is a forecast for the Rogue. I'll show it to you. There's a link from my site to it. Here we go. There it is, right there. There we go.
You have it up?
Just for you.
Oh, there you go. The forecast has it going down. Boom.
Yep.
Wait,
Substantial.
this is the Agnes. Oh yeah, so this is the forecast to Agnes. So, I mean, so the question was about the flow at Grants Pass, which right now is 4,000, but your thing, this is the flow Agnes, which says the trend is down. This includes the Illinois, which is dropping fast too, I'm sure, but the trend for the Rogue is down. So, getting back to your question here. The gauge or Grants Pass around 4,500, so probably a bit more flow downstream. I think I've only been around, wondering if things are manageable. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, for me, I think the Rogue between 3,000 and 20,000 is all the same. That's just with my skill level and my ability. I don't, without knowing the group who you're going with, it's still manageable. When you say, are things still pretty manageable for who? For a bunch of Class 5 kayakers, for people that are brand new to boating? What's your physical fitness?
Zach, slow down. How much does the river change, do you think, going from like 3,000 to 45 to 5,000? How much more challenging do you think it gets? Since you are, I don't think it's more challenging,
but the river's higher, so it's all the high water stuff. Like swims can be a little bit longer. Run tighter, it's not high water, but it's just
there's some spots that you wouldn't think about that. Like we flipped the raft and the guy had school there once. It's some little narrow spot. I remember we just went through and just bloop, and you're like, oh, that feature is bigger than we expected, but we were in a light boat. So I think you got to be a little more aware, and there's some different stuff going on. And it's just not your normal traditional. You can't just run it exactly the same as you always do.
Yeah, thanks, I mean, if you're memorizing lines and just running memorized lines, it might be different. If you're a boater, the difference between 4,000 or 4,500, I think is minor. It wouldn't phase me, but it might phase somebody else at the difference of 500 CFS. So it's hard to answer these questions without all the context: who you are, who the group is, how your experience. It's challenging. So my very vague answer is it's not that much different. And actually, it's going to be 4,000 anyway.
Because Zach, is there a flow where you stop letting people use inflatable kayaks on your commercial trips?
I think it's no, there's not an exact flow. We definitely above 3,000, we don't let people run Mule Creek Canyon or 2,500. I think it's 2,500.
But and then there's when it's running 5,000, you'll the rest of it, you'll let people run it.
I mean, it depends on the people on the trip. So everybody wants to know, I've been getting a lot of emails. What's your cutoff for blah, blah, blah? And it's not a number. It depends. Who's the guides? Who are the guests? Is the river rising or dropping? What's the water temperature? It's not a number, and we never do it above this flow. It's a more holistic approach to it. To decide whether we can run the trip or just inflatable kayaks or not. Okay. All right. Oh, question. And this is great, Brett. Thanks for asking a question. And everyone, we have our preset questions, but please ask questions if you have more. Is it cool to tie your frame off the thwart connection loops on the inside of raft? No. Is the floor better? Thwart connection loops.
Brett, I'm going to ask, what type of connection loops are you talking about? What type of raft? Are you talking about Sotar? Yeah. Are you talking about, like what type? Because I think in general, if you do it a lot, you could probably get away with it, but I've seen them tear because of that, because a lot of times they're being stressed at angles they're not used to being stressed.
Yep.
So I would rather go all the way around. I'd go through the floor first, or I'd go around the tube first if you don't have a D-ring where you need it. But if you have one of Zach's boats that's got D-rings everywhere, you don't have to worry about that. But going through the floor usually works pretty well.
I love the floor.
You have to be careful. It depends. Like the NRS boats, I've noticed with like the NRS straps, they cut the floor pretty easily because they're sharp and they kind of cut into it when we go tied to the floor. So I like a softer strap if I'm going to tie to the floor.
Hey, speaking of NRS, can we take a second to talk about our sponsor? Today's sponsor is River Hardware.
Yeah.
Where our motto
is, if your sponsor actually did something for us.
It does something for me because I sell things and make a little bit of money. Our motto is, if you want customer service, call NRS. And we have all the sizes of these WWTC throwbags right now, including the flip line pocket, which we've been selling. Aaron, I've been selling like 2 or 3 of these throwbags a week.
Wow.
Yep. But if you want customer service, you want to return your throwbag, just go to NRS. The throwbag will be way inferior, but if you want to buy it and like touch it and send it back, don't call us. We don't do returns. We don't. Yeah, it's just not our thing. The other thing, I don't know if I showed you, Aaron, I got up here finally with these tarps. I got a bunch of tarps made.
Oh.
Yep.
Maybe you could get some creek frames made.
I'm not doing that ever. I just used some creek frames on our trip, and I realized I wanted some slightly different. The other problem with creek frames is they're so size specific.
Yep.
Like the creek frame for your 13-foot is different than your 14-foot, which is because they hug the tubes.
Yeah, I think it's a little. If there's a little gap there, it's not a big deal. Adam Crom, his frame, we used it on a lot of different boats because his was a little narrower than the rest of ours, and it actually worked out real well. Like if you have it, just make sure it's a little on the narrow side. It doesn't have to fit perfectly flush with the boat. If it's a little narrow, where your foot's not going to slide through it, I think it works pretty well.
Yeah, it's just there's so much diversity in boat size. Somebody's gonna, shipping a creek frame is so hard. Somebody's gonna buy it, and as soon as you return a creek frame, you just want to.
I think Zach, you make them and say no returns. You say no returns on this.
Yeah,
none.
I think I'm all about that.
You sell it to somebody else.
I'm all about that. Hey, can I show you? Speaking of, so anyway, I just want to finish up with our sponsor, River Hardware, we sell a couple things, including Gear Garage stickers for $1. So if you want to promote Gear Garage, you can get a Gear Garage sticker for $1.
Yeah, how much do you make off those? 90 cents?
Well, the stickers I think cost me like 50 cents, and the postage is 45 cents. So then the envelope is probably 10 cents. So I probably lose 5 cents.
If they buy just one, your host, they need to buy multiples.
Buy more than one. But can I show you? Speaking of creek frames, this last weekend was Clackfest.
Yep.
And I competed, and I did pretty well.
Did you win?
And I won some things. Yep. I don't know exactly what I won, to be honest with you. Oops, hold on. I gotta fix this.
What do you mean you don't know what you won? You don't know what event you won?
Well, because I heard I got 3rd place in the cat slalom, which I have a hard time believing I didn't win the cat slalom. But I think people.
How do you not know your time versus other people's time, Zach?
Oh, because I left. So my parents are visiting. So I went in the morning. I did 4 races and left. I know I won the Orbo slalom, which I'm about to show you that run. I know I won. And then the other 2 were head-to-head. So I won the inflatable kayak mass start slalom. And we won the R2 race against the Oregon rafting team.
Who did you paddle with?
Mark.
Nice.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. It was just so fun. But this is
my Oregon rafting team.
Yeah, in the R2 race. It was.
Don't those guys train and stuff?
Yeah.
Are they approaching 50 as well?
Yeah, I think that Tim is the head guy there. We're probably the same age. We're pretty close.
Okay.
So
it's not some like 20-something-year-olds.
No. It's still the same people, but it was head-to-head R2 race, and I mean, I usually when I R2 race, I overpower people because I'm a big guy and I have long arms, so I usually overpower people. And Mark is a baller, and having Mark next to me instead of Dougie, I've been racing with Dougie
or me or Skinny Aaron.
Yeah, no, you and I raced pretty well together. Didn't we win a race? Or we got 2nd place.
We did. We won we won the hood. The Wind River race.
Did we beat Oregon?
Because those guys got bumped in surf that and flipped. Remember?
Yeah. So anyway, it was fun. We had a fun time. And anyway, here's my Orbo entry. And this is with the slant board. See my slant board? Having that slant board allows so much power.
Oh, you just hit the gate. Zach, come on.
You lose 10 seconds. It's so hard to not hit the gates, Aaron. I didn't hit the gate here, I don't think. But check out the surf I took.
Huh. Do you have to face forward on some and row through some backwards? Do they care which way you go through?
You don't know. You go all. They're all downstream gates. You can't even row any of these back. You can't. It was pretty. I hit that one too, but to make the transition from that gate to the next, you kind of have to hit it. You lose 10 seconds for hitting a post, but
that looks really fun.
It was fun. It was fun. So I did. I heard I may not have won the capo race, which doesn't make any sense. Also, Aaron, I used the.
You're like the Warriors. They got the officials that got to knock you out at some point to let somebody else win.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, so I was running overlapping like this for the capo race for the power, but the orbo was even narrower. So I was overlapping like this. My hands were like this rowing in the orbo race. Didn't matter. Still did fine. But like I was up here, it was fine. But I had to be really careful on my return because I just took the same pins and clips and then carried them up to do the orbo race. Okay. Anyway, let's see where we got. We got some questions. So back to this one. So I would not use the thwart straps. They're not designed for that. You pull the weird angles. I'd just go through the float, or I'd get more D-rings in your boat. I mean, Brett, I'm really curious what boat you have.
He says it down below the star. He's got a star 112-footer.
Okay. Have you heard of any rapids have changed due to recent high water? On the wind, there's a new landslide, changed a little rapid. That's all I know. The star one. Yeah, I mean these NRS boats. The problem is they don't put any D-rings on them. I mean, a lot of companies don't.
The NRS, the Star NRS boat, yeah.
Star bought or NRS bought Star. So
well, it's really designed for R2ing the 12-footer, little paddle boat. There's D-rings on the Star boats.
Hold on, I'm opening up right now. Yeah, I mean, what? There's geez. Yeah, that's more than I expected. It's not bad. It's not bad. Why does it only get 4 stars? Who
I mean, you got the 4 corners. Yeah, you got that's a.
It seems like
standard. Those are standard oar placement. I mean, those are standard.
Yeah, I mean, I would like more D-rings. That's that's more D-rings than I expected. Seems like you should be able to do it with that. Just straps might be a little bit long. I need to tune my clip because my oar pops out of the clip pretty easily. Yep. Any tips or tricks from aside from setting on something solid and banging it with a mallet?
Yes.
Bang it with a rock.
Okay, hold on. Don't
Hammer.
Bang it with a rock. Bang. It depends on if you got a nice heavy wood oar, bang the oar with the clip into the rock like that way. That works well. Do not bang it when it's on the pin. I see people do that. You bang it. And some people bang it too tight so it won't come off. And the other thing is you can bend your pin by banging it on the pin. So don't bang it with a rock while it's on the pin. But in general, I will bang my oar down onto a rock, and you can bend it pretty nice with a few hits. So just make sure you don't bend it too much, because then that's problematic too. And then you can't get it on, you can't get it off. So
yeah. I just take a mallet, just tap. If you're at home with a mallet, just hit the mallet or a hammer. But in the field, I just bang it with a rock, or you're right, bang it into a rock is probably even smarter. Got a June 10th Middle Fork salmon permit. Spent Sunday doing flip practice with my buddy at the lake. First time for me. We learned a lot. Had a great time. Awesome. 50 seconds is fast.
50 seconds is good.
Yeah.
So Andrew, the question is, when you're on your trip, is your boat going to be the same setup as the boat you practice flipping with, or are you going to have a gear boat and it's going to be different? And then do you know like how many people it's going to take?
At least he's practicing.
And I'm psyched on him practicing, totally psyched on him practicing. But that's the one little thing that always makes me nervous is like, I know I can flip an empty boat, but then the gear boat, like how many people is it going to take? What's it going to take to get it back over? Like those different variables. Just think about if you have a chance to think about it a little bit and what would be our plan in that case? Because it's great you're practicing it. So, yeah. Go ahead, Zach.
Sorry, I'm just getting ahead to some of these questions. I don't know. I heard Zach. Oh, man, I got to talk about this rescue, Aaron, too. Oh, man, that's a whole other topic. It's almost worth saving for Friday.
Is that a Friday show or is that a members-only show?
I have no. It's kind of members only. I'll just give you the quick thing. We were doing the IRF course in the wind last week, and I saw some of my friends catboating it put in, and just chatting with them. And hey, have fun. I'm sorry I can't join you guys. And we were slow because we had to do practice safety talks. We were teaching, and we get down to below Ramshorn, right above balls to the wall, right. And we had to get out to just chat. And then my friend's blowing a whistle 3 times. I'm like, oh man, come on. So we go over, and first of all, we're coming down. We see a catboat pinned in a sieve. Like there's one sieve on the window. See a catboat pinned. I'm like, oh, that's a bummer. Get the 3 blissful blast, go over, and a friend of mine had dislocated his shoulder. And so the people on the shore said, hey, he's going in and out of consciousness, and he dislocated his shoulder. And so we went and provided care for him. One of my guides is a ski patroller. He's really good at providing care. We didn't relocate it because it had been too long since he dislocated. We don't want to make it worse. So we he massaged it a bit and kind of got him out of his clothes and just like helped him.
How long had it been dislocated?
I think it was like 40 minutes between when he did it and we got there. They were just waiting. They didn't know what to do. Like it was like some good boaters, but they just sat there waiting for us because they didn't know what to do. He's just in pain, like having a hard time breathing. He swallowed a bunch. He took a long swim. I mean, bad swim. So he was like having a hard time breathing. He was shook up, a little cold, and then it was like, 40 minutes before we got there, another 15 minutes before we even like assessed him enough to think about relocating it. So it'd been almost an hour. So we didn't relocate it. We called 911 and started moving him towards this trail we found. And then paramedics came down the trail and they took over care. They gave him, as soon as they gave him some painkiller, he was actually feeling better. And then we went and pulled that catboat out of the sieve, it was like a swiftwater rescue, like equipment retrieval and a medical at the same time. And Scott's a friend of mine, awesome guy. And yeah.
How do you know how he dislocated the shoulder? What type of trauma caused it? Does he know where it happened?
I think so. The boats that pulled him to shore, he had to grab on really tight. And I think he is just holding on for dear life because it was like medium big water where he just held on so tight that he dislocated his shoulder holding on. He'd already taken a long swim. So if he kept swimming, it was going to be bad. He had to get to shore. Yeah, it was interesting. I'll tell you more about it later. I'll tell you more offline because I feel like we should, talk about it separately.
Rescues are all. There's always stuff with rescues that next time maybe could have done different. Like anytime you're part of any rescue, there's things that don't go as you'd like, or it gets messy talking about them. Totally.
I'm pretty happy with how we handled it. Actually, I'm pretty happy with how we handled it. It's just, it was hard because we're teaching a class and it took like 2 or 3 hours out of our already packed class. So that was, but we're happy to do it. And Scott's a great guy. So we took our time and actually the students thought it was a scenario I set up because it was my friends and they're like, oh yeah, it's a scenario. We had to be like, guys, this is not a scenario. This is real. Like we're going to manage this and we're going to move on downstream.
That's hilarious. That happened when I broke my collarbone on a guide school. The other instructors thought I was setting up a scenario and they're all annoyed with me. They come rolling around the court like, right now, come on, man, we got to get to camp. I can't believe he's doing this right. I'm like, oh, my shoulder. And then it took him like 10 minutes to realize, like, oh, he's really hurt. I'm like, yeah, man, that's an awkward scene. Yeah, when you're practicing scenarios and stuff, and then something real.
It would have been a killer scenario because it was equipment retrieval and a medical at the same time. It was 2 things simultaneous that it was a lot. I think the people on the trip, they're good boaters, but I think that they were also like their eyes open to the things can go wrong, and having training in more than just like doing Z rigs is pretty useful. Okay, so
Andrew, that's great. Yeah, that's a great reason to practice it. Totally. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's a great thing to be able to just make sure you climb on top of your boat. Yeah.
Hey, Johnny SR, I did not tie a loop at the end of my throwback. Somebody else did that. Just so you know. Yeah. No, I mean, it was one of my throwbacks. I mean, we're teaching classes right now. I've got like 25 throwbacks out there. We're practicing. Somebody did that. I didn't do that. No, I'm not that. I see both sides. I can see the value of a loop, and I can see the value of not a loop. I'm not adamant about one or the other. I think
you seem to not want to be associated with the loop tying crowd.
I would choose to not tie a loop. I don't think tying a loop is a good idea, but it's fine too. It's not the end. I'm not going to freak out over it. Okay, back to the questions. We got to get questions. Anyway, so hopefully answer this question. Like, I don't know. They're about the same. Again, these questions, people ask me all the time, what's this like? What's that like? What's the flow? Like, without knowing your entire group and your boat sizes and experience, it's really hard to answer these questions.
But it's not like a significant change. Like certain things, you're like, dude, the river totally changes character from that to that.
What river changes from 4,000?
Gradual change, right?
I mean, this is like an 8% change.
Yeah,
in flow. It's not like, above 4,400, Blossom Bar is impossible. Like, this is an 8% change or whatever it is. There's no river like the Tuolumne, 4,000 or 4,500. I guess the Tuolumne.
Yeah, Tuolumne at certain flows, you hit certain spots, like whatever. When it gets 8,500, it's terrible. 10,000.
Yeah, but like the Disney 4,000 or 4,500 on Tuolumne, it's like, it's minor. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's a little harder at 4,500, but it's kind of the same. If you were saying 4,000 to 10,000, I'd have information for you. Like, it just moves fast. And the only information is it moves faster, honestly, on the road. So let's move on. Okay. What are your thoughts for the middle of Wahi this weekend? Worth doing. Thanks. This is, again, a very vague question. What are your thoughts for the middle of Wahi this weekend?
Are the flows good, Zach? What do you think? The weather?
I don't know. Let's Google
accessing it. I've been trying to go to the Middle Fork.
Let's Google Oahe River flows and find out. I don't have these flows memorized all the time. Oahe River flows. Where are we at? All right. So we're at. Looks like right now it's. Hold on, I gotta look. Let me close this.
Yeah, get the CFS. Come on, man.
Hold on. Those are the new. Those are the new charts, which I hate. I like these old charts. Okay. So what does that look like? Like 1,800 and dropping, 1640 and dropping. So
it's a beautiful flow, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I've only done the middle of Wahi once, but I did write a description of it. So let's look at the description and see what the description says.
I would be more concerned about the weather and the mud and trying to get to the pudding.
I don't think that's a problem. So so everybody knows I get asked a lot of questions. What about this? What about that? I created this website so that I could put everything I know on a website and get fewer questions. So everything I know is on this page. I don't have any more information. So my recommended level here is 1,200 to 3,000. So it's 1,600 and dropping. It's in the recommended level.
Zach, your company's the featured outfitter here, so you should know this run really well.
I've done it once. Okay, worth doing. I don't know. If you like beautiful scenery and beautiful camps, it's worth doing.
What's the weather forecast for the weekend? We couldn't get to Putin. We had halfway out there, and there was a truck on the side of the road stuck in the mud. This big burly truck. Someone left because they couldn't.
The forecast looks like it's. Oh, I gotta pull the forecast up. The forecast looks like.
Oh, that's a good forecast. Yeah.
I don't know. If you like good weather and good camps and a beautiful canyon, it's worth doing. If you want whitewater, there's some rapids. There's a lot of flat water in the middle of Wahi. I don't think people realize how much flat water there is, especially at 1,200. So I think it's worth doing. There's a reason why it's in all the books and why people talk about it. But it depends what you want. If you want to go out and find a specific bird, I don't know if that specific bird is there. So unfortunately, without knowing specifically what you want, I don't know what the answer is. Okay, so hopefully they answered that question. That's our last official question, Aaron. All right.
All right, great. Any more unofficials?
I'm going to be doing the
I'm
Illinois in
going-
September 2025. Can you please tell me exactly what to expect? I get this question a lot.
Brett, you are not doing the Illinois in September of 2025, unless we're talking about something totally different.
Yeah, I think he's making fun of all the silly questions I get. Hey Zach, I'm gonna go run this river in a month. I see the flow is 8,000 CFS. What's it like at 8,500? Like, first of all, the flow is not gonna be 8,500 in a month, just because that's what it is now. Like, I get this question all the time. So I think Brett gets
a lot more sense because I was wondering, like, man, that was like the craziest question ever. Then that makes more.
I think
sense.
he's messing with me. But for everybody watching, I just want to reiterate that, like, I've written descriptions of all these things, and I write these descriptions after I do the run, and so I know more about the run when I write the description than I do now. Like, I forget these things. So if you want to do the North Fork, Willamette Fork of the river, I have written stuff about it. I heard that thing again. And shared photos. When people ask me questions, I go to this website to refresh my memory. So I can't always answer questions. Okay. What size ore risers do you use in your frame? 8-inch. You gotta mute yourself, Aaron. That's loud. So what size ore risers on the Longhorn frame? 8-inch. I would not use anything but 8-inch. If you're using something other than 8-inch, you're doing something else very wrong. Or is this the same? Brett's making fun of the questions I get because I get this question over and over and over. Okay. Air Super Sabertooth versus Super Puma for R2. I mean, basically what you're asking is, do you like rafts or cats? Do you like paddle cats or rafts? I like rafts. I think they're more versatile. I think paddle cats do some things really well, and they do really well on certain types of rivers. I think things like they're continuous, like Idaho style stuff, they do well. I think back east they do really well. But when you're like breaking laterals, when you're going fast moving, current with a lot of forward paddles, but sabertooths don't succeed in California. So where there's rocks in the river, they struggle. So I'm gonna go Super Puma because it's more versatile, and I'm more of a raft person than a cat person.
Which are easier to travel with? It's the Puma, right?
I don't know.
Because the Sabertooth, you got that frame you got to deal with, and right, you have a frame for the Sabertooth.
Well, for R2, no, Air Sabertooth.
Oh, the Sabertooth, is that their equivalent of the
paddle cat?
Yeah, I got you. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a sweet looking boat.
They're pretty fun. We used one of those on our course, not the Sabertooth one, but one of the other companies ones like that. They're nice that one's actually pretty spendy. Wow, that's a lot of money for a little.
I mean, it's Air. It's made in the U.S. It's a premium boat. I mean, if you want to save some money and buy like an RMR, it's probably like $1,800, but it'd have half the life. This is a sweet boat. So I think that the question would be for travel, how much it weighs. So this weighs 74 pounds. Let's see what a Air Super Puma weighs. 74 pounds. What do you think the Super Pumas be more or less?
More.
85 pounds. So for travel, the other one's better. I'm like that.
Yeah, but you could probably take the thwarts out of that, and you probably get it down to less with the thwarts out.
Yeah.
Because the other one, you can't take the thwarts out of it, can you?
No. You probably don't. Who knows? I like rafts. Those little paddle cats are fun. I just think rafts are more versatile.
Well, and I would take the Puma over the Super Puma for R2ing.
The Puma over the Super
Puma. Isn't the Puma smaller? Isn't the Puma like 11 or 12?
Yeah, the Puma's a little too small.
Yeah, it's better.
No, this is 13 feet. I mean, I guess I like bigger boats for R2ing than you do. I think the Puma's pretty flippy.
Oh yeah. No, but it's also small and fun. Yeah.
I mean, so any recommendations on a plan B if we be on the main salmon?
The Wahi looks excellent. The Wahi looks incredible.
You can run it down to 600
And
or low.
and
We ran a commercial trip at 500 in the snow. Like it's still it depends what you want. Do you want scenery or do you want whitewater? If you
this is
want
a great year for the
whitewater,
Oahe too. This is a great year
yeah.
for the Oahe with the way the water's flowing. You know,
The only thing is like everybody's gonna be when there's good weather and good water, the Hawaii's packed. So finding campgrounds is a bummer.
even the
I
middle
mean,
fork or just the lower.
the middle probably is open, but if people are there, there's not as many camps. So the middle Hawaii, I don't know. The lower Hawaii is great. It's a great trip. It depends on what boats you have and who you're with, but I mean the Rogue is always good. The Grand Ron, the John Day, North Fork of the. Oh, you know what's really good right now is North Fork of the John Day, which I've never done. Let's go back here. Hold on. Let's go back to this. Hold on. How do I see this? All right, let me add this stream. North Fork John Day. With the North Fork John Day is 5,000 right now. This is like a hidden jet. I've never done it, so I don't want to like talk it up too much without having done it. But this is a 45-mile run. It's class 2-3. It's 5,000. It's a great flow that I've heard a lot about. So Michael did this write up, so I didn't write this one up. But North Fork John Day would be a sweet run. Dale the Monument, or just a regular John Day would be a great run. What else? In California, like everything's going off. It's a great time to go to California. Yeah. So on the Oahe, yeah, launch on a Sunday or a Monday. Don't launch on a Friday or a Saturday. Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah. So I mean, even better than a Wednesday is like a Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. People that try to combine their things to the weekends tend to make a mess out there. Hey, Aaron, before we go, I brought some video to share with you. Do you want to do some video review?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, and then we'll call this show. So, first of all, I want to share with everybody. This is my friend Cody with Private Whitewater. And so, first of all, please, everybody, go to his channel. He has 214 subscribers. Just take a second, open a separate window, type in youtube.com. Here, I'll even show you how to do it. You just go to a separate window. Let's go back here. Type in youtube.com. Actually, I'm not going to do it. But find Private Whitewater. He does great videos. He needs more subscribers. Please take a second and watch his videos. He's really a great guy. This is everybody's least favorite rapid. You know when you finish Greenwall on the Illinois, Aaron? And if you're new to guiding, you're like, I did it. I did Greenwall. But if you've been guiding there for a while, you're like, okay, that's cool. I did Greenwall, but Little Greenwall's right around the corner. Like, you have to deal with Little Greenwall. Do you know what I'm talking about? The young guides think they're done, and Little Greenwall is really what causes the problems.
Oh, yeah.
And I have this video, and I also have some video for me running it the other day, attempting a new technique I want to share with you. I love this flow. I think it said it was 700 CFS. These low flows, the entrance is so technical. How do you feel like they're doing, Aaron? Any comments so far?
I like he's got the guy on the right's got a high float live check in on, I believe. Oh, that's not so good.
They both have waist belt throw bags too. Good high side. Good high side. This would not be a place I'd want to flip. This would be oh, they're gonna flip. Oh, they came off. That's a good example of a high side working, right? Nod your head. You can nod your head, Aaron. Yes, that's a good place for a high side. Now he's got the leg outside the boat. Oh. And so this is the problem with Little Green Wall. Do you have the name for this right side run through here?
No. No, I don't have a specific name for it, but yeah,
I've
it's
heard
easy to get in there.
I've heard other guides have a name for it. At this flow, it's really nasty. The 700 CFS flow. There's guides have a name for it. I think I've heard called the poop chute. It's not a great place. I mean, things tend to work out in there, but this isn't where you want to go. That guy
Where'd the other guy go?
Did he swim back there? Oh, did we miss that? Okay, look carefully. Yeah, he swam. This wouldn't be, and now he's probably going.
Slide off.
It's probably under the boat right now.
Oh,
That's a good reason to like. I mean, you gotta be really careful when you're on the bow of a boat like that. Oh, dude. And then there he goes. He's probably right now under the boat. You definitely want to stay in the boat. All right. Can I share with you my video? I have to upload it here.
yes, please do.
Download. Give me a second. Isn't it, man, this actually, first of all, isn't the Illinois stunning? I mean, the green hills, the rocks, the scenery, the water. This is an awesome place. I don't know. I'm pretty stoked.
I think it's one of the best road trips in the world. Yep.
Do you notice my new PFD?
What kind is that?
That's the new NRS big boy, whatever it's called, guide, big water guide.
Oh yeah, with only 22 pounds of flotation.
22 pounds, 22.8 pounds of flotation. So
is that extra 0.8 only for the big one, or is that for all of them?
I think it's all of them. So the sizes, they all have the same flotation. They just how big the straps get. And actually, I was talking to Mark about this. The European jackets, as they get bigger, they have more flotation. In the U.S., it's generally the same jacket. They just have bigger straps, so they get around a bigger person.
Not with the big buoy. The big buoy used to have bigger flotation when they got bigger.
They stopped making it. So
I know. Yeah, dang it. The people who purchased MTI.
It's funny. I just had a conversation with the people who used to own MTI yesterday about some of this. Okay, so here's my plan. Okay, let me tell you my plan. I'm front loaded. This happened to me the last time I came here. I had all my weight in the front. I tried to pull the move and it just sucked me right. So I thought, let me put my weight in my bow and I'm going to try to track to the left. So I'm pointing right now, but I'm going to turn. And my goal here is to just go for it and just point left and track left. Seems really smart, doesn't it?
When are you going to start pointing left? I never saw you pointing left. I only saw you pointing straight downstream, Zach. You never were pointing left.
I was pointed left right there.
You're straight at you're pointing straight at the rock. You're pointing straight at you're not pointing left at the rock, you're pointing straight at the rock.
Right there. I pointed left right there, a little bit left. Hey, if I had just gone straight at the rock, I would have been happy. But it sucked me down the poop chute. I almost wrap here. I mean, I could have wrapped.
You're pointing straight at the rock, and then you pivoted and pointed your nose to the right, so it tracked you to the right. Yeah.
It wasn't my best moment.
I think you've got to get it's really hard. That's a really hard move.
I said, hey, guys, give me a lot of space because I'm going to try this thing that may not work out. And then the next boat actually came right behind me. But it's not the place I want to. I'm not dying to be stuck here. And actually, the next boat broke an oar. Doing this, going in there. They tried to pull. The next boat tried to make the move, pulling, got sucked in there and broke an oar. This rapid it's my nemesis. I cannot find a systematic way to do it consistently every time. Yeah, I should have turned more. I mean, it wasn't even close. He almost couldn't have done worse than what I just did there. No, I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Again, if you start way on the right side of the chute, if you're trying to start on the left. What happens if you start way on the right side of the chute at the top and get some momentum right to left and go across the V the other way?
I mean, that's right. That was my plan. The problem is that my boat's fairly heavy. So getting from here to the right with left momentum, I just didn't have. I couldn't do it. It was a pretty heavy boat. Right?
Maybe bounce off the right shore there. Try to get over and bounce the right shore, and then go across.
And then turn. Yeah. I thought if I can just get the boat down there and point it left, it would track over there. But it just sucked me. For a second there, I'm like, oh man, this is not going to go well.
That's my standard run. Try to go left. Don't end up going left, and just figure it out.
Yeah, I mean I like predictable. Every rapid on the Illinois, I have like a plan for. It's predictable. This one, I have to make it up every time I get down there. Can you catch the little eddy on the top right to kill the momentum? I don't think I could. Maybe in like a smaller boat or a lighter boat. You mean? Oh, he's talking about Mark. I think you're talking about the eddy right in front of me. This boat was not catching an eddy. Oh, I mean, you can't really tell, but there's a big stack of bags in front of me and a ton of weight in the front. And so getting that boat to stop in a small eddy would be hard. I think maybe hitting that right wall and then trying to bounce over, but it'd be tough. I think I'm just going to start accepting right at the beginning. Oh, right at the beginning, like right up here. Which eddy? I don't think there's any eddies on the right here, Mark. I don't see an eddy. There's no eddy here I could put this boat into. Oh, that eddy there. I don't think I could get that boat in there. A cat I could, like a raft I could put in there, like a light raft, but I had too much momentum coming in. All right.
What's wrong with going right?
Where I went, like right down here?
Yeah, what's wrong with going right?
I don't think it's a good question. I just don't think it's at low water. You don't want to go right. So, and when you go in there, you just kind of, you could get, you're like, at this point, I have no control of the boat. Like I'm just hoping this is like my third time through here. I always make it, but sometimes you get bridged in. Like I can't turn the boat anymore because I can't use my oars. I could get bridged in here. I could flip in here. You can see I get slowed down in here. And now the next boat could slam into me. And that could be a problem. And I really, as the lead boat, I really want to be on the eddy down there on the left to provide safety for the other boats. So instead of providing safety, I'm now in the way.
What's the deal with your stern line, bro? That thing looks crazy long. That looks like a crazy lazy tile.
I mean, it's a little lazy, but it's not near me. And if I need to jump over those bags onto shore, I need kind of a long lead. Right? Like if I need to tie up to shore.
If that flipped out, how deep would it dangle in the water? And would you catch rocks easily?
Are you saying like I could get stuck in that dangle? Is that what you're saying?
Or it could chalk in something in the water, right?
It's not going to chalk in something. I mean, it could if I flipped. It could maybe but like I had it sitting on the bags like that. So if I needed to just jump out really quick, I could just grab it and run to shore instead of like trying to find it and having a short lead. I could stand on shore and hold on into the rope. Oh, I mean, I was lead boat, so I wanted to be able to quickly act if I needed to.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
You can see like from my seat, I could just run, grab it, and keep walking instead of like go to the front of the boat, try to find it, and then the boat already bounced off something. That's what I was thinking. Well, Aaron, we wasted another hour of people's lives. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Hey, by the way, I just checked my email. I saw my email come in. Somebody just ordered 2 Gear Garage stickers. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate the order. Thank you to whoever's supporting the show. And we'll close because we're becoming sellouts. Let's close. Oh, hold on. Oh, man. Where is this? Let's finish up. with our sponsor. I love talking about our sponsor, Aaron. Why can't I find? I have too many windows open right now. Maybe I shouldn't have maybe I shouldn't have talked about our sponsor. riverhardware.com, where our motto is, hold on, share screen. Come here for the great gear, leave with a frown. To get it, because the customer service sucks. What do you think we should add to the website, Aaron? Any ideas?
Oh, I think frames, those creep frames.
No, we're not adding creep frames. But I want to point out that we carry the Better Mounts frame brackets. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, and I think he's close to bending and being able to bend and do everything. And I think he's close to being able to do most of the stuff for getting a frame together.
That'd be great, because it's really hard to sell frame brackets without pipes.
Yeah, I think he has the pipes, actually. So I think he's close. I'm
going to have to buy some pipes from him, because I bought like a bunch of these from him just to throw them on the website and help him out. Oh, and by the way, I met Thomas at Clackfest. Unfortunately,
yeah, nice.
I was in a massive hurry because I was like finishing a race. I had to rush home to see my parents, so I didn't get a chat with him. I wish I had more time to chat with him, but I met him at Clackfest. It was cool to meet him. But it's really hard to sell these frame brackets without tubes, so I'll have to buy some.
Well, yeah, the frame brackets aren't very useful without tubes. They don't do much.
Yeah, they haven't been our top sellers. And I want to remind everybody that we have used Cobra spinnies. So if anybody needs some used spinnies, we got some of these for sale. We don't recommend using it for whitewater. So if you're a whitewater boater, you probably shouldn't buy them. But if you want them, we have them for sale. All right. Well, Aaron, do you want to do your world-class close the show down? And we'll wrap this one up.
All right, here we go. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you learn every time Zach puts something new online. Hey, those of you guys are members, thanks for being members, and really appreciate all your guys' input today. It's too loud over here, so thank you.
Hey, Aaron, I want to tell you, you can go on mute. We have over 10,000 subscribers now. We're like 10,150, I think. So yeah, we scream by the 10,000.
Was that a bunch of bots or what?
They're probably all bots. 10,174 subscribers. We just blew past 10,000.
Yeah, we're gonna get to a million quick now.
We'll be at 10 million in no time. I can't wait. It's gonna be super fun. I gotta tell you one more thing too.